Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Jovike here, and in today's video I am going to be sharing how I went about the cutting and sewing of this gorgeous award-winning dress. It's an inbuilt corset with double boning technique, a deep illusion neckline, and this shiny structural design. So if you're interested in learning how I achieved this masterpiece, you definitely need to keep on watching, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. The measurements and materials needed for this style is on your screen, guys. Here is 3.5 yards of lace fabric, 2 yards of skin crepe, stay, skin net, wadding, gum stay, lining, rageline, and plastic boning. Guys, remember in our last class, we drafted the pattern for both front and back. If you are new to our channel and you missed the drafting tutorial class, please check out the video card that just appeared at the top right of your screen to watch it now. Or later, you check the description box for the tutorial video. This is what the front and back pattern looks like. And to cut it out on the fabric, I started with the front part of the corset. I have cut out mine already, so to cut out yours, place your skin crepe fabric on fold and place the front pattern on it like this. Leave like half-inch seam allowance around this area my index finger is directing. Also, leave half-inch around here. I did not add seam allowance to the side because I added it while drafting. If you did not add yours, please add it now before cutting it out. At the down part, I added half-inch hemming allowance because I will hem it with bias. Remember, this is an inbuilt corset, so add your hemming allowance. If you're not using bias to turn yours, then add like 1 or 1.5 inch hemming allowance. Please remember that this center side will be on fold, so you don't make mistake. After cutting it out, take away the paper and use the front piece to cut out a lining exactly the same way, length and width. This is my lining. Here I am cutting out a gum stay for the lining. After cutting it out, keep it aside. Here is the back part of the corset. Also double your skin crepe and place the back pattern on it. Then leave half-inch hemming allowance at the down part. At the center back, leave half-inch seam allowance, and at the top also leave half-inch seam allowance. Make sure to double your fabric before tracing for the right and left side of the back corset. Beneath it is stay. Here is mine. This is for the left side of the back with stay, and this is for the right side of the back also with stay. Next is to cut out a lining exactly the same length and width. Here is the lining for both the right and left side of the back corset. I have also cut out a gum stay for the two sides lining. Next is the back yoke. Remember in our last class, I told you guys that I will make some adjustment to the back yoke. I don't want it to be straight anymore, so I opened it up like this. Then used my marker to draw the shape. You can draw yours any shape you want. So I left like 1 or 1.5 inches space here for button before creating the opening. Here I have gone ahead to cut it out, and this is my new back yoke. It's going to be 2 for the two sides of the back. Then next is the front yoke. I double folded my skin net because I wanted it double so it won't tear easily. After that, I placed my front yoke pattern on it like this, with the center of the pattern directly on the folded area like this. I will leave like half-inch around here and also around the shoulder area. This is what yours should look like. Here is the back yoke. Also double fold it, then leave half-inch seam allowance all round aside the armhole region. So I added 0.25 inch seam allowance around the button area so that my 1 inch will remain for me after turning the net. Next is the curve. This is the center front and the side front cup. Place it on the skin crepe fabric. You can pin it down, then leave half-inch seam allowance all round like this. Do not forget to double your fabric so that it will come out double. Also notch the bust point area. Do not forget to cut out a lining for both the center and side front cup, and also a gum stay for the lining and stay for the skin crepe fabric. In place of pad, this is the wadding. I will use the pattern to cut out a pad for the 4 pieces. Here I have cut out the pads for the 4, and this is it. I labeled them to avoid mistake. These 2 together and these 2 together. After that, I will keep it aside and move to the skirt part. It's the normal basic skirt we cut almost every time in this channel. In case you don't know how to draft a basic skirt pattern, check the video card that just appeared, or later you check the description box for it. Here I placed the skin crepe fabric on fold so that I can cut the front part first. I have gone ahead to mark out the waist to hip, which is 10 inches plus half-inch seam allowance. I also marked out the skirt length at 17.5 inches plus 1.5 inches hemming allowance. Next, I marked out the round waist measurement divided by 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8 plus 1 or 2 inches seam allowance. I marked out the hip measurement divided by 4 plus seam allowance. And then on the hemline, I will just mark out the hip round measurement there and use my curve ruler to connect everything together. After that, I will go ahead and cut it out. Next, for the back, double your fabric again and mark out 1.5 inches zip allowance. Also, on the back waist, add extra 1 inch for that. Make sure the front piece is placed on it like this. I have added 1 inch for that. This is my zip allowance this side. Next, I will cut it out. Make sure yours is looking like this. Back to the front part of the corset. This is the lining, and as you can see, it's just exactly like the main fabric. I will get a gum stay and iron/gum it down to the lining. After that, this is what it looks like. This is the main fabric. I already ironed a stay to it and gum stay to the lining. This is my raglan or sewable boning, and here I am marking out where I will create a boning channel. First, I marked out a line at the center, and then from that center line, I marked out 2 inches for the next boning. You can decide to leave a space of 1 to 3 inches depending on what you want. But for me, I am using 2 inches spacing here. After marking out for this side, I will move to this other side and repeat the same thing. But at the center, I will be using double boning for it. I have gone ahead to make the lines more visible for you guys. You can freestyle around here. However you want to place your boning is up to you. Here, I am marking out half inch all round at the edges for seam allowance. You need to leave like ½ inch space both up and down before sewing your boning. Next, I will get my tape and start measuring the lines one after the other so that I will know the size of boning to cut out. You can decide to measure directly with the boning. Before cutting it out, I want to create like 8 channels for my boning. You can decide to create 4 to 8 channels depending on what you want. I will use the sewable boning to create channel for the non-sewable or plastic boning. So after cutting out the boning, I will use masking tape to cover the sharp edge like this for the both ends. You can also decide to use a lighter to smoothen it. After that, I will take it to my sewing machine, place my boning on the first line and start sewing. Remember to leave ½ inch space above and below before you start sewing your boning. After sewing the first one, I will move to the next line and start sewing the second one. Remember to sew at this tiny space my index finger is directing. This is what mine is looking like so far. It's very neat. Make sure you are doing yours the same way. Please do not close this down part of the raglan boning. Leave it open like this. That's the opening through which we will pass the plastic boning. I will continue till I get to the last one. That is it, guys. I am done creating the channels. You can decide to iron the boning and make it straight before sewing, or after sewing you use your iron and straighten it just like you see me doing in the video. Now it's looking straight and finer. I will get the lining, place them together and keep it aside. This is the cup, and as you can see, I have iron ester to them. I joined the center front cup to the side front cup with ½ inch. This is the second one. I have joined it as well. I also joined the linings too. That's why it's 4 now. Next, I will notch the seam side of the lining with my scissors so that it will relax very well. And for the main fabric, just open up the seam like this and iron it down. This is the part we cut earlier for it. I am going to join it together either with a zigzag stitch, or I will join it small like this and sew it very close to each other. This is the right and left side of the back. I have iron stay to the main fabric and gum stay to the lining. Now, if you want your back to have the double boning, then go ahead and repeat what we did for the front part. Mark out lines and use the sewable boning to create channels. But for me, I will only add the plastic boning to the back corset, but that will be after joining it to the lining. Next is the front yoke. I doubled it, so one is serving as lining. I will sew through the neck and the armhole. I won't join the shoulder region and this down part. Rather, I will turn it from there because my dress has no sleeve, so there won't be any opening at the armhole. For the back yoke, I will sew from the neck to where my finger is directing and also the armhole. I will repeat same thing for this other part. Do not sew the shoulder and chest region because we will turn from there. Next, for the front piece, I added skin net to it to give it that natural skin effect look. It's totally optional, please. You can make the skin net single, but I decided to double mine. I will arrange it very well, take it to my sewing machine and stitch it all around the edges. This is the front lining and the cup lining. I will also join the lining cups to the body with 1/2 inch. Next, if your net is stressing you to sew, you can add paper under just like you see me doing in the video. After that, I will turn it and show you guys. This is the main fabric cup. I have ironed the wadding part to it using hemi gum. That wadding has a shiny side with gum, so place it on the crepe fabric and add hemming gum. Then use your iron to gum everything together. This 1/2 inch here is the same allowance. This is the second cup, so I will take it to my sewing machine and join the cup to the main body. I am done turning the front yoke, and this is what I have here. The neck and armhole is turned already. This is the back yoke. I have also turned it. Everywhere is covered, aside the down part and the shoulder region. Next is to couple the back piece together. So this is how the back will be. Place the main fabric first like this. Arrange the yoke and place it on it like this. Then get the lining and place it last. Take it to your sewing machine and stitch down where my index finger is directing. I will get the right side of the back and arrange it the same way too. So here, in order not to get confused via where to place your yoke, you can cross-check with your pattern paper to make sure you are on the right track. Guys, this is the front lining, and as you can see, I have sewn the cup to the body. This is the main front corset. I have also sewn the cups to the body and it's given already. This is what the inner looks like. So next is to add the front yoke to the corset. Please pay attention. I am going to carefully place the yoke this way because nets can be stubborn at times. Get your pin to pin it down first. I will start with one side. As I arrange, I pin it down. After that, I will place it together again and pin it down patiently till I get to the end. After pinning for that side, I will take it to my sewing machine. This is me sewing it. As you sew, you carefully remove the pin. After sewing it to the end, this is what it looks like. I will arrange this other side, pin it down again, take it to my machine, stitch it down, and this is it. Very neat. Just apply patience and you will get it neatly. Next is to turn it finally with the lining. You are going to first place it this way with the yoke in the middle. Also get your hemi gum and place it on it like this. Take it to your sewing machine and stitch everything down. I am done stitching and joining, and this is what it looks like. Very neat. When you iron it, the hemi gum inside will help the main fabric and the lining to stick together. This is what the back looks like. Next is to work on the side, but before that, this is the skirt part. I am done sewing the dart and the zip allowance at the back. I have also coupled it with loose stitch because I will still lose it. This is what the front and the back looks like. Next is the modesty panel. And this is what I will be using for mine. It also has a lining and I have iron gum stay to the lining. Now for the length, it will depend on the length of your back top. Mine is 13.5. So my own length, I'll make it 12.5 because I want it 1 inch shorter than the back corset. It also depends on you, but don't make it longer than the top. And also don't make it too short. This is my modesty panel. I am done turning it with the lining, and this is what I have here. For the wideness of the panel, I made mine 8.5 inches. In the process of attaching the panel to the corset, I am also going to create a space for the eyelet. The eyelet is usually in between two boning, so we will be creating two boning channels for the eyelet to be in between. I will place the panel like this, making sure it's facing one side of the back of this corset, and I am going to stitch this down first of all. Please, if you are confused, place your tape like this and go in by 1.5 inches. Your panel should be 1.5 inches away from the center back. Then pin it down because that is where you will sew from. I have pinned mine down, and this is how it's going to be. Turning to the right side, make sure yours is like this. Remember, 1.5 inches away. Half inch will be for one side of the boning. The center half inch will be for the eyelet opening, and then the remaining half inch will be for the second boning. For this other side of the back, I will also mark out 1.5 inches for the boning and the eyelet opening. Half inch for the boning, the center half inch for the eyelet, and the last half inch for the boning as well. I will mark it out, then take them to my sewing machine to stitch it down. Please watch what I am doing so you will not be confused. Guys, this is me removing the pin and stitching down the panel 1.5 inches away from the back corset center. I am done stitching it down here. I will turn it like this, then stitch through the first half inch for boning, measure another half inch close to it for the second boning, and use the center for eyelet.
Please, before sewing the last half inch for the second boning, which will be at the center direct, take away the modesty panel. Don't sew the second one together with the modesty panel, just the first one.
I am done, and this is what it looks like. Please, if you are confused or you are not following, do not panic. Because the video is getting longer and we still have other things to learn, I will still make a separate video tutorial. It will be well detailed on how to create bony channel, modesty panel, and eyelet opening and fixing. So just on your notification bell and get ready. For the eyelet opening at the back, I don't have eyelet plier, so I will use my scissors to cut out the eyelet hole. You can use 2 inches for the eyelet spacing. After marking out with chalk, I will use my scissors and start cutting and opening it like this. After creating the holes, I will get the eyelet. This is what the eyelet looks like. I will take this bigger one that is higher first, not this flat one. No. You will put the bigger one in first and use any sewing glue you have and apply on it first. Then put it in like this. Press it in. Turn to the back. Get the flat one and put it on it through the back. Take a close look at it. This is what it should look like, well pressed, before putting the flat one on it. After that, get a plier and open up the first one and pull it out this way. After spreading it out, I will use the plier head to just beat it down lightly. Some people use hammer, but make sure to beat it lightly so you don't spoil the eyelet. This is what it looks like, very neat and firm. I will repeat the same thing for the other holes. Do not make your hole too wide and remember to apply gum to hold it down. I am done fixing the eyelets, and for the back corset boning, I'm going to be using the plastic non-sewable boning for it. So I'll cut out a plastic boning for the back. I will use a lighter to smoothen the sharp edge. You can use masking tape to cover it too. Then insert it through the half-inch boning channel we created. Don't forget to leave half-inch hemming allowance while inserting your boning. After this side, I have gone ahead to cut out another 2 for the right side. And this is me carefully inserting it through the channel. After this one, I will also insert this other one. After that, this is what I have. Our corset is corseting already. Now for the remaining boning for the back, you can give like 1.5 inch or 2 inches space before creating another boning channel. This one right here is 2 inches space. I have marked it out, so mark out yours and sew half-inch space on it so that it will serve as your boning channel. Then add extra boning to the back corset so that it will snatch you very well. I didn't add to mine because of personal reasons, though it still came out well, but please add to yours. I will still share a detailed tutorial for full front and back corset boning. Back to the front corset, it's time to add the non-sewable boning. So, get your plastic boning, smoothing the edge with lighter or masking tape. We already marked out half-inch hemming allowance, so make sure your boning is half-inch shorter after inserting it. Just turn to the wrong side, then pass the plastic boning into the sewable boning we added earlier. Measure the 8 of them, smoothing the edges and insert them into the sewable boning. This is me measuring and cutting out the plastic bonings. After cutting, I smoothen the sharp edge with lighter and masking tape. Here I am already inserting it through the sewable boning space. After inserting, use your scissors to push it inside very well. and make sure to insert it just the way I am doing. The curved side should be on top while you insert it. I am done inserting it in. I will use my scissors to push everything inside. After pushing everything in, this is what I have. Next is to couple up our corset. We start by joining the shoulders first. So place it this way. Take it to the sewing machine and join it like this. Also arrange it well and stitch the sides together with the same allowance we added while drafting. Guys, I am done coupling, and here I want to show you guys how I hem the down part of the corset. If you added enough hemming allowance, you can use it to hem yours. I will be using a bias. Place the bias first like this on the hem area and stitch it down. Then after that, you turn it again like this. Do the last folding and stitch everything down all round. Guys, our corset is ready. This is what it looks like. This is the back. Now you can decide to use inseam finishing so that your corset will be neater. Because I will still adjust my measurement later, that's why you are seeing my seam. So if you don't want to use the inseam finishing, make sure to weave yours very well for a neat finishing. So guys, back to the skirt part. Remember, we used a loose stitch to couple it up. So now I have loosed and separated the front from the back because the back will be covered with lace, but the front will still be cut and draped. Here I am pinning down the lace to the back piece. After that, I will cut it out. You can use your glue to hold them together, or you can use an office pin. After that, I repeated the same thing for the other side of the skirt. Next, I will place them together like this. Take it to my sewing machine and stitch back the zip allowance all the way down. Then add a zipper to it. This is the front part. I will join it to the back after fixing the zip. This is the sewable boning that I will be using for the structural design at the front part, and also the remaining skin crepe fabric. That's what I will use to create the channel for the structural design. Here I am trying to turn it to the right side after sewing it so that I can insert the raglan boning for the design. Here is a sneak peek of how the designs were achieved. Let's keep going, guys. We will still get there. I will show you guys everything, so just keep watching to the end. Next, I fitted the dress with my mannequin. From there, I tacked down the button for the back neck, and I decided to wear it here so that I will know how to cut my front draping design. This is what the inbuilt corset looks like. It's well snatched. You can see the skin net effect at the front part of the corset. This is the back. I used a ribbon for the lacing. I am done coupling the skirt and fixing the zip. Everything is given already. Next is to mark and cut out my front corset design and where my draping will start. So you can wear it, use your chalk and mark out whether it's a V shape you want or an upside down V shape, which is what I am marking out here. More like an A shape. To make it accurate, I use my tape to first locate the middle to make sure that everything is straight and accurate. So after checking and correcting, I decided to also measure the length I want for the structural design. I want 5 one side and 5 this other side. So use this opportunity and measure how long you want your structural design to be, and also write it down as you measure. I made mine to be reaching around my ear. You can make yours longer or shorter depending on what you want. I also measured for the one at the hip region. It will also be 5 one side and 5 the other side. Then for the length, I made it to enter the back small, but not so well. Just small will be showing at the back like so. So after measuring and writing down everything, I decided to use chalk and draw it small on the body because most of it will be tacked to the body. This is a closer view. So after using the measurement to create the structural design, I will still show you guys how I created it. Here I got it, trying to attach it to my body to know what it's going to be like. Nobody was around to help me as of then, so I was using pin to hold it down. But at this point, I noticed that I can't do it while wearing the dress. So I moved to the next one, which is cutting out the A-like shape design that will be the base for the structural design at the waist region. So first I used my pin to secure the center, then get a scissors and started cutting through the shape I marked out with my chalk. So after cutting out the shape, this is what it looks like. Next is to stitch it down on my body first. You can first secure with pin, remove the pin and then stitch it down. But for me, I got my needle and thread and started stitching immediately. I have stitched down this side. Here I am stitching the front side, and here I am done stitching the sides and the front. And this is what it looks like. Do not stitch the back waist, please. Just tack down the sides and the A-like shaped design at the front. I am done tacking it down, and as you can see, it's very neat and firm. Next, this is where the work starts. I used a chalk to mark out where I will be placing the structures, and then after marking out, I went over to the draping of the lace on the body. So I literally used needle and thread to tack while I drape. I draped from one side of the back to one side of the front. As I drape, I pin it down first. After draping one side, I started again from the other side of the back to the other side of the front. As I drape, I pin it down immediately, following the shape that I cut out at the front. Because I draped from one side of the back to one side of the front, it automatically gave the front a center slit. If you watch closely, after draping the front, I turned to the back to also drape close to the zip side. The zip side has more of the fabric. That is why it gave it a tail-like look, because of the much dropping of the material. You can use like 4 yards of lace if you want your tail to drop very well and fuller. I couldn't get enough recording of the back because I was confused at some point before I finally achieved that back design. But this is what the front looks like. It's just the normal draping. You can play around yours and give it any style you want. So after tacking the lace to the body, I started again to place the structures, and I was still not getting what I wanted. It was actually exhausting and tiring, but with the markings I made on the body with chalk, I followed it and tacked up some of the structural designs. First, I tacked the root so as to secure it first, and then removed the dress to start working on it proper. I tacked, and I also used gum glue to hold down the structures. So here is how I placed the pearls and shiny appliques on the structural designs. I used gum glue to achieve that. This is where I was still struggling with the placement. Then for the back, I cut out lace trimmings and used it to design the back corset part. Please give me a thumbs up if this video was helpful. You guys should please bear with me. I will still share another video on how I achieved the structural design because this video is long already. So please subscribe and on your notification bell so as to be notified whenever I post the next tutorial video. Please share this video with your friends and drop a nice comment. Check out the description box for our sewing group link and join. Also for our social media pages and follow us there. Click on this picture to subscribe now. Thanks so much for watching till now. See you guys in our next class. Bye.